welcome. Today we're going to be examining how we can protect files from even their owners. And we're going to be taking a look and see if superadmins can be kept from updating or modifying files that are protected. So I'm in my Linux machine, I'm using Ubuntu. Let's take a look at the files that we have in this directory. We have former Vice President Joe Biden's border policy, and we have President Trump's border policy. Now I'm currently logged in as the user captain. Now let's take a look at the permissions of these files. Both of these files provide the user captain with the same permissions. Would you believe me if I told you that one of these files is completely wide open? The captain's going to have no problem modifying it, while the other one is super locked down. So I'm going to quickly try to append some strings first into former Vice President Joe Biden's border policy. I can see the strings that I just added. Now let's go ahead and try to add the same string of characters into President Trump's policy. That's interesting. Once again, the permissions are exactly the same for the same user. There's no misspelling here. So if I open up former Vice President Joe Biden's file, we can see here the hi that I added, and we can delete it. We can add a few lines, and we can save. See, the file was written, and then we can close it. Now let's try opening up President Trump's border policy. The file opened as read-only, as we can see down here. If we go to the bottom and we try to write something and save it, we are met with an error that says this file is read-only. Now there is a way to override it, so let's say we try to override it. Once again, it says can't open file for writing, so we cannot edit this at all. So I'm going to close it without making any changes. I know what you must be saying, there must be something particular to the captain user that is keeping it from being able to modify the Trump border policy file. So let's go ahead and move into sudo. Now I have assumed sudo and I have superadmin capability. Once again, we'll take a look and see that the permissions are the same for the same user. Let's try to remove the file. And we can see that sudo actually does not have the ability to remove it. Let's try renaming it to something else. Let's call it President Trump border policy. It won't let us rename the file either. Let's say I wanted to rename the Biden file. Right, so we call it former VP Biden. We're able to do that. One more thing to note, which is interesting. Let's say I try to copy the file over. I am able to copy it. And if I try to remove or edit this file, I will be able to. Go to the bottom, saving. Oh, we're able to save it. So we'll look at it real quick. There it is. We added that string of characters there. So how is this possible? First question of today is, why would someone want to protect a file in this fashion? The second question of the day is, what's easier to protect? A file in Linux or the US border? While you are thinking your answer for those questions, please like this video and subscribe to the channel today. Now let's explain how this works. For that, I'm going to get out of sudo. Here we have 3 files. We'll notice that the president version is owned by root. I was root when I created it. Sudo rm president. So we're back to 2 files. We have former Vice President Biden's border policy, and we have the President Trump border policy. So the way I was able to accomplish this is by using something called attributes for the file. So we have a command in Linux, ls-attr, list system attributes. And if I don't pass anything in, it's just going to take it for all the files in the directory, as long as they're not .dot files. So you can see here that President Trump's border policy has an I attribute, while former Vice President Joe Biden's does not. And so the way you can change this is by using the change attribute. We'll do -I, and then we'll specify Trump. Now this, you do have to be an administrator to do. You have to use sudo command for this. So now let's take a look at the attributes. The I is gone. And if I open up the Trump border policy file, we're no longer in read-only mode, and we have the ability to edit it. So save it, save just fine. So tail-n1 will open up the Trump, and we can see that it has that edit in there. If I want to once again protect this file, all I have to do is run the change attribute command again, but this time with a +I option. And now the ls-attr command shows that once again we have that I, and if I try to, let's say, delete the file, I am Once again, not allowed to. If you learned something new today, thumbs up this video. If you want to continue learning cool things and more pro tips, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next video.